There's something about abandoned places that pulls certain people in. The silence, the history, the feeling that you're walking through a world that just stopped. But last October, deep inside a shuttered ski resort in the Colorado high country, that silence broke. And I learned that some places aren't abandoned at all. According to the U.S. Marshals Service, tens of thousands of active fugitive warrants are open in the United States right now. Some disappear into cities, some head for the border, and some, the ones who really don't want to be found, find places no one thinks to look. I'm an Urbex photographer. I've spent years documenting abandoned places, hospitals, factories, forgotten parks. Silver Creek Resort shut down in 1997. The lodge, chairlifts, everything left exactly where it sat. Pristine, frozen in time. I drove up in mid-October on an overgrown access road. I packed my camera, 3 days of food, a sleeping bag, battery bank, and a satellite messenger. I told 2 people exactly where I was going and when I'd return. The resort was everything I'd hoped for. The main lodge was a massive A-frame with a stone fireplace big enough to stand inside. The bar still had glasses on the shelves. The chairlifts hung slack in the still air. I spent the first day photographing. By sunset, I set up my sleeping bag in the upper loft. Good sightlines, solid walls, defensible position. That first night, I sat by the window with my headlamp off, just listening. The wind moved through the broken glass, making a low, mournful sound. Peaceful. And then I saw it. A flicker of light down in the trees. An orange pinprick, like a cigarette or lantern, maybe 300 yards from the lodge. It was there for 10 seconds, then gone. I told myself it was a reflection, my tired eyes playing tricks. I zipped up my sleeping bag and forced myself to sleep. The next morning, I went back to work. I was shooting the old ticket counter when I noticed something that didn't belong. A candy bar wrapper. Fresh. The expiration date was 3 months ago. Your brain tries to explain away what it's seeing. Maybe another Urbex explorer. Maybe a hiker. Maybe kids. I kept telling myself that as I moved through the lodge. Then I found the room. It was a small office behind the front desk. Someone had pushed the desk against the wall and laid down a sleeping mat. Canned food stacked in the corner. Beans, soup, chili. A portable camping stove. A flashlight. And on the wall, a newspaper clipping, yellowed and torn. The headline read, "Convicted felon escapes during prison transfer. Authorities say he may be armed." The date was 4 months old. I packed my camera in under 2 minutes. I didn't bother organizing. I just threw everything into my pack and started walking toward the access road. That's when I saw my SUV. Both rear tires were slashed. Clean cuts through the sidewalls. I wasn't just in someone's hiding place. I was being kept there. The smart move would have been to trigger my satellite messenger, but I'd left it in my sleeping bag in the loft. I had to go back. The lodge felt different now. Every doorway was a threat. I moved quietly, staying low, using my camera to peek around corners. I made it to the loft. The sleeping bag was exactly where I'd left it, but the satellite messenger was gone. And then I heard it. A door closing somewhere below. Not the wind, a deliberate click. Someone else was in the lodge. The second I accepted I wasn't alone, something shifted. The fear was still there, metallic, cold, but it got pushed aside by something sharper. Hypervigilance. I knew this building better than he did. I'd spent the last day photographing every corner. I knew where the floorboards groaned, which doors locked from the inside. He had the advantage of violence. I had the advantage of terrain. I slipped into a maintenance closet behind the kitchen and locked the door. It was barely big enough to crouch in. Footsteps, heavy, methodical. He was searching room by room. And then a voice, low, almost conversational. "I know you're in here." He was 30 feet away. My hand found a heavy pipe wrench on the shelf beside me. I gripped it and waited. The footsteps circled closer. He tried the closet handle. Locked. He rattled it once, twice. Then silence. The kind of silence that's worse than noise because it means he's thinking. "I just want to talk," he said. Lies told in the dark still sound like lies. He dragged something heavy across the floor. He was barricading me in, cutting off my escape. I waited until his footsteps faded into the lower level. Then I moved. The maintenance closet had a ceiling panel. In older buildings, mechanical rooms connect through crawl spaces. I pulled myself up into the darkness, dragging the pipe wrench with me, and began crawling toward the far end of the lodge. The crawl space was tight and black. Below me, I could hear him. He'd broken through the closet door. Now he was angry. "Where did you go?" I kept crawling until I reached a grate looking down into the main lobby. Below me, through the metal slats, I could see the stone fireplace. An idea started forming, something desperate, something stupid, but it was all I had. The fire alarm. Old resorts like Silver Creek had hardwired alarm systems with backup generators, systems that could still work decades later. I'd seen the pull station near the fireplace. If I could reach it, the noise would carry for miles through the mountain valley. I dropped down from the crawl space behind the front desk. The impact knocked the wind out of me. He heard it. Footsteps, fast, coming from the kitchen. I ran. Across the lobby, past the stone fireplace, toward the red pull station. My hand hit the lever. For one horrible second, nothing happened. Then, a mechanical groan. The backup generator. A screaming, piercing siren that filled the entire valley. He stopped, then ran into the trees. I didn't stop running until I reached the main access road. The alarm was still screaming behind me. A Forest Service ranger found me around dawn. He'd heard the alarm from his cabin 4 miles down and had driven up. I was sitting on the side of the road, covered in dust, still holding the pipe wrench. They searched the lodge that morning. The sleeping mat, the canned food, the newspaper clipping, all there. The satellite messenger was found in his camp. He'd been living there for nearly 4 months. They never caught him. The forest is dense up there, thousands of square miles. He's still out there somewhere. But I survived because I knew the building better than he did. What would you have done? Stay safe out there. Always trust your gut when a place feels wrong.